we once got a review saying, I'm so intimidated by all these beautiful people around me, which made loads of people come to our gigs. Do you know what I mean? They're like, wow, is that where the pretty people are? I'm there.
Get Radio Breakfast with Rich Smith.
It's Band Week, a week that I absolutely love and adore because we get to speak to so many incredible musicians from every walk of life who are representing Oxfordshire in a massive way. And that really does sum up our next guest. We're catching up with Lee Christian. Now, Lee has been a prominent member of the Oxfordshire music scene for a long old time, and there's lots to discuss. So I'll say morning, Lee. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. You're making me sound old.
No, that was not my intention. That was not my intention. It's more that you've packed a hell of a lot in.
It's that I'm old. It's all right. It's fine.
Fine. Okay, we'll move on then. The biggest kind of compliment, I do actually mean this. I look at the kind of list of things that you've done, got going on, and done, and had many fingers in many different pies, and go, wow, that's what I wanted to do when I was younger. That's what I wanted to be in bands. I wanted to make punk music and dance music. I wanted to own a record label. I wanted to be on the radio. I wanted to do it. And you've done it. You've literally done it.
Well,
so I don't know where to start.
Well, I mean, I wanted to do all of that stuff when I was younger, and I had, and now I wish I didn't. But yeah, like it was more. I didn't have really any musical talent. I was into like Prince and Guns N' Roses and stuff when I was younger, and I thought music was like the province of geniuses and superhumans kind of thing. So I didn't really think it was something I could do. I used to potter about with a guitar or keyboard trying to work out things one note along the string kind of thing. And I just thought, this is not for me at all. And then I came back to Oxford from lots of traveling abroad with my parents and stuff. And I landed literally in the height of grunge, and Britpop was kind of just blooming and stuff. And I went to college and went to photography class as it is at Whitney Tech. A girl called Sally, who I met in my photography class, said, oh, my boyfriend Jamie does stuff at the Ensham Youth Centre with bands and stuff. He's in a band called the Daisies and stuff. You should check them out and you should go along and everything. And I was like, sure, why not? So I went along and I saw teenagers my age playing Breed by Nirvana, and I was like, oh, what? So like I could, do you know what I mean? So like, well, if he can, he's just my age. I'm sure like I could maybe do something. And suddenly it wasn't like and everything, and it was just like hack out a few chords, have a bit of an angry idea, and boom, you've got your songwriter. Do you know what I mean? So, and the coolest thing in the world was to be in a band back then as well. Yeah. So, like it was a bit of a different, like, if anybody who's young is listening to this, if you could just imagine, like, I don't know, like if you had friends who were YouTubers or, I guess, social media influencers or something, and that looked like semi-cool or attractive or like something you could do, imagine that, but in a way where you could, you'd be kind of, for want of a better description, sticking a middle finger up to the man or whatever, like a kind of, it was a genuinely rebellious thing you could do that was the weird thing back then was there was counterculture in the mainstream, whereas there's not really much counterculture in the mainstream. By the time something's in the mainstream now, it is kind of pounced on and corporatized and things like that. Whereas I think they were a bit slower on the ball back then, and they were kind of like, is this making money? Cool, sign it, make it, turn it around, get it out. And they didn't really stop to think, oh, is this Rage Against the Machine that's going to turn, whereas now they're very good at not making sure no Rage Against the Machines slip through the cracks. Do you know what I mean? It is very much a
different time, and that whole grunge scene, almost linking back to the sort of punk scene from before, where people could go, right, I can get a cheap instrument, I can hack out, like you say, a few chords, but I actually can be cool and I can be in a band,
vitally, I can go and see a band in a local pub that might be on Top of the Pops next week. Yeah. And that's that's like a huge. I mean, I literally saw, Jamie very quickly was signed with on the, I think, same day, or at least literally round about exactly the same time as Theodore Supergrass was signed to Parlophone. And
Wow.
like Jamie was from Freeland and I was living in like Ensham, and do you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
like, oh, so this is a career. This is something you
Yeah.
can not
Wow.
like, oh, this is some wild woolly thing. I want to be a musician, right? Yes, but you must think of a proper career. Do you know? Don't get me wrong. I think everybody around me was still thinking that, but I could see very clearly. And then later on, obviously, as you're in the band, you want to network and you want to get around and you get to know people and you want to pick up some work and all that kind of thing. So you end up doing like every different job. Like I learned how to do sound, lights, produce, manage bands, do artwork, postering, flyering, like just manufacturing merchandise and recording, and just like so many different things.
Yeah.
And when I say recording, I mean the kind of all the process of releasing and all this kind of stuff. I had a booking. I was marveling about the fact that my band Stroppy, in like when I was like 18, we had a booking agent for a while who used to actually like that.
Yeah.
So you used to take it really seriously and kind of, and there was kind of opportunity, and there was. I remember when I put out Solo Thing, before I came back to Oxford, I was in Manchester studying, and before I came back and formed Smilex, I had a thing which was kind of called Smilex as just my solo thing to be like Nine Inch Nails or whatever. And it was, I got paid by People Sound £100 for like a load of 4-track demos that I'd made and put that out as an album. And that was like in 1999 when I had a GeoCities website, GeoCities or GeoCities, wherever it's called. Yeah. And like, and everything was like, so there was always this kind of like, and I still joke with Deadly, who is obviously on Melting Pot. We were housemates back in the day, and we've had this running joke that might be the most successful thing that I ever did, because it was like just some demos that you made that cost you nothing, and you got £100 back in 1998 or 9 or whatever it was. Do you know what I mean? Which was a lot of some money back then.
Lee, I want to sort of say this, and I'm listening to you, and I'm kind of just there, and you're building the picture and telling the story of you so amazingly. You strike me as someone who is obsessed with music. Music runs through your veins.
Yeah.
Music is what you go to bed very late in the morning thinking
Yes,
about.
very much so. Yeah,
and wake up with that as well. Would I be true in saying that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was from before I really knew it was. If I remember when I wanted to be a film director, and I used to write scripts and stuff, and they were very music based. Considering I was like, they were either inspired by, whilst I was listening to music, I would be writing like, I don't know, surrealist images or whatever that came to my brain, or they'd be, I don't know, this guy's in a band and he's trying to do that, or this guy is a murderer but he listens to like this soundtrack all the time. And I know, there was always kind of like, so I think the minute my family kind of like, they were quite shocked and laughed and stuff when I said, oh yeah, I'm going to be a singer or whatever, and it's like with no vocal skill whatsoever, and kind of okay, great.
It's proof in the pudding that you can do it if you have that kind of goal and dream, and you see
I mean, I didn't make it big, so I don't know if it's proof. Yeah, it's proof that you can do it despite everything. I don't know, like we're just lucky. I'm lucky for my sanity that that the music industry changed so dramatically that I have a realistic enough perspective of it that I know that bands that have headlined Glastonbury and have done like incredible things are also, they've got members of those bands have day jobs where they're like, teachers or work in some music adjacent kind of business. So we're all in such a similar boat now that it's really, even it's really funny. Oxford music scene itself has become, and some people probably hate me for saying this, but less pretentious for it, because there's a lot of people who you just wouldn't talk to you before, and now everybody's on a slightly more level playing field that that the people who, you still get like, you still get big bands, they still think they're famous or whatever and know they're famous or whatever. And being honest, I do wonder if it's a little too much, not to be too controversial, but I do kind of wonder in my head whether, a member of Radiohead who wasn't Tom or Colin, or Johnny would actually like cause anybody to rush at them if they turned up at Riverside, for example.
Yeah.
Like I do think maybe that there's a little level that they could drop a bit from and just come and support a local free festival and things like that. But also those other bands who were lower, who used to think they were so special, even though it was only local fame that they had, all that pretension, that doesn't work anymore. So there's a silver lining to every dark cloud.
Yeah, definitely. And look, you mentioned Riverside because
which means I can book good bands for Riverside. Do you know what I mean? So
hence what. So talk to us a little bit, just briefly, Lee, because we are sort of fast running out of time, unfortunately. But I want to get this.
Always happens when you talk to me. Don't worry.
It's all good. But I wanted to sort of get in and mention about Quickfix Records as well, because that's a huge part of what you do. And also links beautifully with Riverside as well, and curating the wonderful stage there.
Yeah. I mean, Quickfix, me and Terry Bonham put together in the early 2000s. We'd done a little tape mail order type thing before that called Glass Axe, and then we were in Oxford. We found a band called Caliber with a Live Loose, who's on Quickfix now, was 15, I think, when we signed them, and there was a lot of kickback, like, oh, do they deserve to be on a label? Do they deserve to have a record out? And my thing was, if they rock and I can see an appeal, then they should have a record out. And sure enough, went really fast and, went really pretty well. And Smilex was like the next release on the back of that. Before long, we had Verbal Kink and Youth Movie soundtrack strategies. Youth Movies did incredibly well. They were from High Wycombe. We tempted them over, and then they kind of were really influential in the scene and everything. We put on gigs at the Wheat Sheaf for 10 years. We were like, I'd say we were the most successful promoter, not to be big-headed, but because basically our audience drank a lot more than the other audiences, like Gappy Tooth and Phil and Sue, Club Cacophony. They've both been going longer, probably more. But we had the drinking crowd. Do you know what I mean? That's what keeps the landlord happy at the end of the day. So so that's why I like to call us the most successful. And we once got a review saying, "I'm so intimidated by all these beautiful people around me," which made loads of people come to our gigs. Do you know what I mean? They're like, wow, is that where the pretty people are? I'm there. Do you know what I mean?
There we go.
So we did all of that. We put out CDs, back in the day when it was CDs, and we could turn those over, give money to bands. That was the important part of the transaction that I think is lacking now. And now we kind of try and do streaming, and we're an international label with, I don't know, people like Clindo Parker, who plays for Janelle Monáe, and Jenny Matthias, who was in the Bell Stars and stuff like that on them. So, and we do Riverside Festival, we did the last few because people passed away, and I was asked to step in, and I thought, yeah, let's do this. And I just tried to book the best possible people I could. So we started with Adamski and Jenny Matthias and things like that, and then ended up with a kind of, dragging a lot of people out of retirement, the Daisies
in recent times.
And it's I mean, some of them are coming out of retirement anyway, and it's coincidental, but some of them genuinely, like the Daisies, I worked on over a year to get to reform, kind of thing. So because they're so important to me, I already said why, So
it is an amazing thing, Lee. I feel like we should have maybe booked a couple of hours for this interview rather than the 10 and now 15 minutes that we're going into now. So I do apologise for maybe not getting through everything.
Apologise to your listeners for going over.
No,
you know what I mean?
They are loving it. They are loving your frank and your honesty and insight, and I am as well. So apologies from my behalf, saying that we have annoying things like roads and bits and bobs to get in. We want to get the new single away. Yeah. I know, it's radio, isn't it? We've got the new single. Just if you can do it briefly, just tell us a little bit about it.
Oh, it's just about all those funny fake people that you see on social media, and how much it's kind of slightly inspired by the Fire Festival. And it's just about, fakers on social media and how they're kind of living in a slightly different reality to what's, feet on the ground, earth kind of stuff. And, it's not supposed to be anti anything so much as maybe a little anti corporate, but, but yeah, it's mainly just taking the mickey a bit, having a bit of fun for summer. Whilst if you're looking out all those people getting all their content and everything, then maybe this will play through your head whilst you kind of like look at it.
Let's hope it will.
Yeah.
Lee, it's been a joy and a pleasure catching up with you. I
Thanks for
implore
having me.
anyone to go and check out Quickfix Recordings. Just search for that,
And just go to a
online.
gig. Go to a gig.
Go
Go
to a
check
gig.
out some bands.
That is brilliant. Lee, we'll definitely have you back on. It's been amazing.
Thanks.
For being on the
I'll
show.
try and
We
wake
really
up
appreciate
again.
it. Try and wake up again. Is it back to bed or is it up again? What is it now?
Oh, now I'm up. I'm just going to have to stay up. Yeah.